everyone, this is Colleen with yarnwars.com. It's been a long time, so let's get started. Okay, so materials that you're going to need for this, you're going to want scissors, you're going to want a blunt needle, and that's to hide in one or two tails. You want to look for the number 4 for your weights. I'm using landscapes like I did in the video for the Stormy Waters Infinity Scarf. This is a great yarn to use for this project. It gives you that really pretty Stormy Waters look. Unforgettable by Red Heart, another good one. And this is one that I found at Hobby Lobby, which is also a 4. But this will, this will probably produce even another pretty, I'm going to use this one actually for my Stormy Waters to see how this works for the video, to see what it looks like after. But this is also just another example. This is also a 4. This is one that I got at my local yarn store. They have just specialty yarn, and this is an alpaca, but for those who like to work with different fibers or mixes, that just remember to look for that. This should work great as well. So we'll get started. You're going to want a J hook, and that is a 6.0 millimeter hook. And like I said, we're going to make the beanie one in here, not the slouchy. We will do the slouchy, but that will be next. So this one by Yarn Bee is a teal purple, and it does not tell me what it is. I'm going to assume this is acrylic. I don't have any problems with wool or anything like that. So for me, if it was wool, not a big deal, but certainly don't have to do it with wool. We're going to start by making a magic circle, or alternatively, you can chain 4 and then join with your first chain made, and that will give you a circle as well. But you're going to wrap your yarn around your fingers once and then twice, crossing over the second time. I just grab this over here with my finger. Take your hook, go in through the middle there, grab that yarn and pull through. Come over here and grab this yarn that you're holding on to and pull that through your loop. And I know it looks a little complicated there, but it's really not. I have a video on this as well if you want to pause and go to my magic circle video, but this is really easy. So we are going to chain 2. And we're going to start by making 12 double crochets into our magic circle. So we are not counting this chain as a stitch. We're going into the circle, pulling through, and we're going to yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So there's our first. And we're going to just continue on until we have 12 double crochets in that circle. That's 6. Okay, so I've made 12. Let me just make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 12, and then the chain. All right, so what we're going to do is take our tail. This is the nice thing about the magic circle. You can adjust it as you work even. We're just going to pull it tight so that it all comes together. And then we could tighten up the circle in the end. So don't worry if you can't get that closed off all the way. But just go ahead and join to that first double crochet you made. Not the chain, but the double crochet. And we have our first round complete. So our second round, we are going to chain 2. Into this space right here, this chain space, we're going to work 2 double crochets. And into every stitch around, we're going to also work an increase. So we'll be working 2 double crochets into each stitch. So we'll work 1 double crochet into that stitch and work another double crochet right into that same stitch. 2 in each round. So you should end this round with 24 double crochets. Almost there. Just 2 more stitches. So we'll do 2 more into this one, 2 more into this one. This is that chain up area. So we're not going to be working any into that. And then our last one. And guys, this is a lot. This Wild Streak by Yarn Bee is a lot like the Unforgettable in the Landscapes. If you have to pull any of it out, I just found that out a second ago. Not easy. So we're going into the top. Remember, not the chain up. We're going into that first double crochet, the top of the first double crochet that we made to join. All right. So we have completed round 2. So round 3, we are going to chain 2. We are going to start by working 2 double crochets into that same space right there. And then we're going to work 1 double crochet into the next. Like I said, we're going to start this out as a typical start to a beanie. And there are a few different starts, but this one has proven to work for well, as far as I'm concerned. So we did 2 in our first, 1 in our next. We're going to increase in our next. So 2 in the next. One in the next. 2 in the next. One in the next. So I'm going to continue this on without talking, but just remember to continue making an increase in every other stitch around, and you'll do 1 double crochet into the following. So we just ended with a double crochet, 1 double crochet. You're going to do 2 double crochets, then 1, then 2, then 1, then 2. You should end with 1 double crochet at the end. So go ahead and continue on your path around, and we're going to meet up right here on the other side. So I'm coming into the end of this round 3. And I just finished an increase, 2 double crochets. Then I'm going to work, oh, did I do 2? Yep, 2. Then we're 1 double crochet in the next. And you see I've got 2 more left. So I'll work an increase in the next one, 2 double crochets. And then in my last one, I'm going to work 1. At the end of this round, you should have 36 stitches, not counting, remember, not counting your chain up. So I know sometimes it gets hard on the join end if you're new, but just take a look real quick and I'll just explain in this one where we're joining here. You've got your chain up right here, and then we have this double crochet that we made and this double crochet that we made in that same space. So we're going to join right here at the top of our first double crochet. Like so. All right. So we have completed our 3rd round. Moving on to the 4th round, we're going to chain 2. We're going to work 2 double crochets into that first one right there. And then we're going to work 1 double crochet in each of our next 2 stitches. So just 1 double crochet and then 1 double crochet and then 2 double crochets, an increase. So for this round, we're doing that as a repeat around round 4. Our next 2 will be 1 double crochet. And then our next one will be an increase of 2 double crochets. Oops. And then 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, and continue around and around and around and around until we get to this side right here where I will meet back up with you. So we come into the end of this round and we have 3 stitches left. So I just completed my 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet. So now I'm going to work an increase, 2 double crochets. And then I'll work 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet. So you'll end your round with 1 double crochet in each of the last 2 stitches. You will have a total of 48 stitches after this round. Each round we're going up in obviously 12. So we had 12, 24, 36, 48. We will join to the top of our first half double crochet, or first double crochet, excuse me, made like that. We have one more round of the beanie part of this pattern. So we ended in 48. So we're going to chain 2, work our 2 double crochets, our increase into that first one. If you need to use a stitch marker for this, I just don't feel the need to, because you could see very clearly where it's very defined when you're coming up to it where you started. But if you need to use a stitch marker, you know, I would definitely do that at the beginning of your first stitch. So we worked our 2 double crochets. Now we're going to work 1 double crochet into each of our next 3 stitches. So if you are a beginner and you're just doing this for the first time as far as hat goes, now you can probably kind of get an idea of where we're going on this pattern. Okay, so 2 double and then 1, 2, 3. And then we do 2 double again and increase in the next. And then 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet. So 1 double crochet in each of the next 3. And that is our new pattern. You should be able to make one of these hats with 1 skein. Unless you're going to go for a pom-pom or something. All right, so 2, 1, 1, 1, and then 2 double crochets in the next, and then 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet. So into the next 3 following our increase is 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to let you continue on until we get over here to the last part, to the end of our round. But we just finished our 1 double crochet in each of our next 3 stitches. So we'll do a 2 double crochet in here, an increase, and then 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets, 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets. And you continue that around. We'll meet over here on the other side. So now we're coming into the end. I just completed 1 double crochet into each of my next 3, and now I'll do an increase or 2 double crochets into my next. And then 1 double crochet in each of our last 3. Again, you will have a total of 60 on this, guys. And then we'll join to the top of our first half double crochet made. Remember, don't worry about this little hole in the top. That's going to all pull in nicely. You can close it up, but where it's really going to, and I'll just do that right now before we move on with our Stormy Waters end of this pattern. But I'm just going to take my blunt needle. This is for the beginners, so if you are an expert crocheter, you can just fast forward or mute me. So what I like to do when I am coming in, first I'll go into, you want to work into the center to help close that off. So I'll work in and through this middle section right here. But to make it lock in place and a little just more secure, what I'll do after that first initial going through is I'll come back a stitch right behind my tail. I'll come back behind it because it kind of puts a little lock right in that area. And so like if you can see this little stitch right here, I'll just come in behind that. And I'll just pull that. So this is pretty tight and that hole is really not going to open up. Okay, so that's the new top I have here. I'm only clipping this a little bit so I can keep myself in check if I throw myself off and I know this is the inside of my hat. Okay, which I won't have a problem. But now we are moving on. We've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rounds. So we're moving on to round 6, which is starting our Stormy Waters pattern. Remember, because we're working in the round, if you've made the scarf already, it's going to veer off ever so slightly, just in the beginning and the end of the round to accommodate for us working in the round. So we're going to chain 2 to begin this round, and we're going to go ahead and work 2 double crochets into that first space right there. And then we are going to skip our next 2 stitches. So we're going to skip this one, and work 3 double crochets into this one. skip this one, skip this one. So we're going to skip 2 and work 3 double crochets into the next. Remember, be relaxed with this. By the way, guys, I'll have all of the sizing in the written pattern, and I'll go ahead and include that in the description below as well. So skip the next 2 and 3 into the third. Continue on through this entire round, 1, 2, and then 3 double crochet into the next. You're going to skip 2, 3 double crochets. Skip 2, 3 double crochets in the next. Continue that all around until we get to the end. And when we get to the end, I will meet you before our last 2 stitches. Okay, so I've come to the end here, and I have 2. This is what your hat looks like so far. All of these 3 double crochet clusters around, and we ended with 2 stitches here at the end. So we're going to go ahead and just pull on over and connect to the first section right here, this double crochet, the first one we made. So like I said, in the beginning and the end, this is where you're going to see the most difference in how this pattern is worked. But we also do that to make this, seal this up a little better right here in the beginning. So while we do count our chain up as one of our first cluster stitches for this pattern, we are still joining into the first double crochet, which would be the middle on this first cluster. I'm not trying to confuse that, but just so that you know what we've done here. This actual chain is going to be the first thing we actually work into. So in the scarf pattern, we start with a single crochet into our first stitch and then we move on. We're not going to start with that first single crochet. But we are going to start by chaining 2. And we are going to do a front post double crochet around that chain, the chain up from the last round. So you're going to yarn over and you're going to come in behind and through the chain. Yarn over and pull that through. You'll have the 3 loops on your hook and you yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So we've made our first front post double crochet around that chain. And believe it or not, that will help fill in the gap a little bit here. So that's why we want to do that. And into our middle, or our second one where we actually joined, so this next double crochet, we're going to work 1 single crochet. So we just go in and work a regular old single crochet. And to the third double crochet in our cluster, we are going to work another front post double crochet. So yarn over, go in, through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So this is what we have for our beginning. In this pattern. We are going to continue on doing the same thing around here. We're going to reach over and we're going to work a front post double crochet into our first double crochet of our next cluster. So yarn over and make a front post double crochet around that first one. You're going to work a single crochet into your next, into the middle. And then you're going to work a front post double around the next. and continue this around. I'll do one more. Front post double crochet, single crochet into the next, and front post double crochet on the next. Go ahead and complete that around for each of your clusters until you get to the end, and we'll meet up in our last cluster. So I got a little ways in the video and messed something up here already. I just want to come back in and show you because these yarns can be really painful to frog, and it doesn't matter, it's going to be painful, but if you're just really careful with it and gentle, you can get it to pull out pretty easy. Just pull it carefully through, and if you come to a part where it's really just snagged, just pull on the fibers a little bit like that, and it just really loosens it up. So I just wanted to show you that tip. And that's all. Back to the video. Okay, so I'm going to take just a second real quick to explain to you what we want to do here is we're trying to line up. This is what makes the Stormy Waters pattern is our goal is to line up these little deals right here. So how we're going to do that is come back into the pattern here. Okay, so we've chained 2. We are going to skip just 1 in the beginning of this round, and we're going to work 3 double crochet cluster into the middle double crochet from our last round of clusters. So we're going to reach over right here and work 3 double crochets. Then we're going to skip 2 and we're going to work our 3 double crochets into this next one. This is going to give you also a pretty seamless join for this. So it's going to kind of just blend right in with the whole program. So we'll skip 2, and that's going to put us again, our next set of 3 double crochet clusters right into that middle double crochet from our last round of clusters. Skip 2, and then into the next we'll work our 3. It's important that you get into that middle one though to get the look. So this is how the pattern differs slightly from your beginning and ending to the scarf, obviously because we're working in the round with the hat. 1, 2, and then into the next. Skip 2 and 3. So continue around till we get to the end, and we will meet to work into the next round. Okay, so when you come into the end of this, you're going to skip your last 2, and then you're going to work your 3 double crochets into that middle cluster again. And that just leaves us with the last stitch that we're skipping. Okay, but actually we're going to be reaching over, so we are kind of skipping that chain too, so that would we would consider that our next, our second skipped space. So go ahead and join to the top, not of your chain, but the top of that first double crochet in your first cluster of that round. Okay, So that's how we end that round. And then we are going to chain 2. We're going to make our first front post double crochet around that first double crochet in our first cluster. We're going to work a single crochet into the second. And then we're working our front post double around the third. Okay, so as you can see, these are going to line up. We want to make sure to be working our 3 clusters into the middle. So we're going to finish this round, and then when it comes time for us to make another 3 double crochet cluster round, just remember that this is the double crochet that you're making those 3 clusters into, the second of our 3. Okay, so hopefully I didn't say that totally confusing there, but it's actually very simple. In single crochet and front post double crochet. So continue this pattern around. Again, we're working a front post double in our first double crochet, a single crochet, and then a front post double. So go ahead and continue around your round here, and we will meet up again at the end. We're coming into our last cluster here. We're going to work our front post double crochet, our single crochet into that middle one, and our front post double crochet. And then we're joining to the top of our first front post double crochet. Okay, so we have everything lining up here, and we're just starting again with our first repeat row for our stormy waters. So we're chaining 2, and remember, we're not working into this first one, but we are working into the next one. We're going to work 3 double crochets, our first 3 double crochet cluster. And then we're going to skip 2, which lands us in the middle of that cluster again. So we're going to work 3 double crochets. Skip 2, then 3 double crochets. Skip 2, 3 double crochets. Skip 2, 3 double crochets all the way around, and we will meet at the end of this round. We are coming into the end of our round. We have just one more cluster of 3 double crochets to make, so we're going to skip our 2 and then work 3 doubles into the middle of that last cluster of double crochets. And then we are going to join to the top of our first double crochet that we begin this round with. I'm going to go ahead and start you out off on your next round here, and then you're going to continue on just growing, because everything is a repeat from here for these 2 rounds. So you're going to chain 2. We're going to start with our front post double crochet around that first double crochet. We're going to single crochet into the next, front post double around the next, and then we're going to go directly into our next cluster with a front post double crochet, a single crochet into the next, and a front post double crochet around that third double crochet in that cluster. And then we're reaching over with a front post double, a single, and a front post double. So continue this around until you get to the end. We'll go ahead and meet at the end here, and then I will just instruct you on the rest of this, where to go from here. So I just completed my last front post double crochet, working my last cluster, and then I'm going to join to the top of that first front post double crochet made in this round. From here, you're going to repeat your rounds. You will chain 2. You're going to skip this first one, and working into this next one, you're going to work your 3 double crochets to start your next repeat round for the Stormy Waters hat pattern. So you're going to skip your next 2, then work your 3 double crochets, skip the next 2, then 3 double crochets, and you're going to continue on and on and on, and then you'll work your next row up of the one that we just completed. So you're going to go back and forth until you have grown this to approximately 8 inches. You're going to be measuring that from here down. So when it'll be approximately that. You want to try it and make sure that it fits you right. But just to quickly go through this from top to bottom. Whoops. It's about 8.5 on mine, 8.5 inches. So maybe 8.5 or 8 to 9, between 8 and 9 inches should be suffice to cover your ears on an adult hat. So like I mentioned, I'm going to have the sizing below in the description. Also, there will be a link to the written pattern. So if you'd like to just print out a copy of that and then follow along, it would probably be even more helpful to you in getting through this. So go ahead and complete your rounds on this hat, and I will pop back in as soon as I've finished mine. And then we're going to move on with the slouchy pattern for those who want to make the one that I showed you, which has the actual pattern going from top to bottom. So go ahead and continue, and we'll see you in just a little bit. Okay, so I have completed my hat, and as you can see, this is the seam here, but it really works into where you can't notice the seam. So it's pretty nice, virtually seamless. So I just wanted to show for beginners really quick how I hide my tails on the hats. Just get your blunt needle. Give yourself about a 6-inch so you've got some room to work here. But I always like to go in the top of my next one here and down through stitches. So I'll just come through a few stitches here and pull through. And you don't want to pull it to where it is coming down and dented, but you want to pull it enough to where you no longer can see where you ended. So we just kind of wrap through the stitches on the back side or underside to where nobody's going to see the tail, and to where you have it nice and secure without it showing through the front at all. So I just like to go in as far as I feel like I might need to. And like I do it in the middle, so you're not going to see this on the outside at all, but like I do in the middle where I had shown you how to hide the tail in the beginning, I like to do the same here, where I will come back and go back down. So I'm locking the stitch in. I'm coming in behind the tail. Once or twice. I'll just do it once here. You can see how it's locking in there. ahead and snip off the tail close to your work. And that's it. So here is our one. And that measures approximately the same. I haven't even hidden my tail in for this. So I'll go ahead and do that. But that is as simple as it gets for that hat. I would just like to go ahead and give you a couple of tidbits, a little bit of information here. If you like the pattern and you like my video, I would love for you to subscribe for future videos. I will be picking it up and posting more fun free stuff. So make sure to come and visit us, and thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you.